Hello and welcome back to Understanding Depression, your safe space to learn, reflect, and grow. If this is your first time here, thank you for joining us. And if you're returning, we're truly grateful to have you back. Before we dive in, let's take a moment to mindfully ground ourselves. Whether you're listening on your way to work, lying down in your room, or just taking a break from a busy day, remember to breathe, relax your shoulders, and be present. You're here and that matters. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast with those who may need it. Let's build this awareness together. Today's episode is titled The Connection Between Depression and PTSD, an important conversation that touches many lives, often silently. We're going to explore how these two mental health conditions overlap, influence one another, and what this means for those living with one or both of these experiences. Let's begin by understanding what PTSD and depression are. Separately, post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, is a mental health condition triggered by a traumatic event. That trauma could be a car accident, physical or emotional abuse, natural disasters, assault, war, or any event that significantly threatened a person's sense of safety. PTSD isn't just remembering trauma, it's reliving it. It can show up in flashbacks, nightmares, hypervigilance, avoidance behaviors, and an overwhelming sense of fear or numbness. Depression, on the other hand, is more than just feeling sad. Clinical depression involves persistent low mood, fatigue, loss of interest in activities, changes in sleep and appetite, difficulty concentrating, feelings of worthlessness, and in severe cases, thoughts of death or suicide. While PTSD and depression are distinct diagnoses, research shows a powerful and complex connection between the two. Let's talk about how PTSD can pave the way to depression. After experiencing trauma, people with PTSD often face a distorted worldview. They may believe the world is dangerous, that people can't be trusted, or that they're forever broken. These beliefs can erode a person's sense of hope and joy, fertile ground for depression to take root. Also, the symptoms of PTSD themselves can be incredibly isolating. Avoiding reminders of trauma may mean withdrawing from people or activities once enjoyed. Nightmares and sleep disturbances can leave individuals exhausted. Flashbacks may make it hard to concentrate or hold a job. Over time, this isolation and exhaustion can lead to a deep and persistent depression. Research estimates that nearly 50% of people with PTSD also suffer from depression. This statistic isn't just a number. It represents millions of people struggling with the complex mix of emotions, memories, and pain. Another reason PTSD and depression are so closely linked lies in the brain. Both conditions impact similar areas of the brain: the amygdala, hippocampus, and prefrontal cortex. The amygdala, responsible for processing fear, becomes overactive in PTSD, constantly scanning for threats. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, which helps regulate emotions and reasoning, may underperform. In depression, there's also heightened activity in the amygdala and reduced functioning in the prefrontal cortex. The hippocampus, crucial for memory and learning, often shrinks in both PTSD and depression. This shared neurobiology helps explain why the two often coexist and can even worsen each other. Chemically, both conditions are linked to imbalances in neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, which regulate mood, sleep, and motivation. When these systems are disrupted, it becomes harder to feel joy, safety, or energy, fueling a cycle that deepens both PTSD and depression. Let's bring this to life with a real story.
Imagine Sam, a combat vétéran.
After serving in war zones, Sam returns home with intense PTSD. Loud noises trigger flashbacks. He avoids crowds, isolates himself, and struggles with sleep. Over time, the loneliness and exhaustion weigh heavily. He begins to feel hopeless and guilty, especially for surviving when others didn't. Sam's PTSD symptoms don't exist in a vacuum. They gradually bleed into depression. He loses interest in activities he once loved. He questions his purpose. He starts to believe he'll never get better. This story reflects countless individuals: veterans, survivors of abuse, accident victims, refugees, each walking a path marked by overlapping symptoms, internal battles, and invisible wounds. When PTSD and depression coexist, the effects can be more severe than either disorder alone. People may experience deeper despair, more intense suicidal thoughts, and a harder time finding stability. Treatment becomes more complicated because symptoms can reinforce each other. Nightmares lead to poor sleep, which fuels low mood, which worsens trauma flashbacks. Also, diagnosing both conditions can be tricky. Sometimes, depression is so prominent that the underlying PTSD goes unnoticed. Or the PTSD dominates attention while depressive symptoms are brushed aside as normal reactions. That's why comprehensive mental health evaluations are critical. Here's the most important message today. Healing is possible. Treatment for PTSD and depression often includes a combination of therapy, medication, lifestyle changes, and social support. Trauma-focused therapies like cognitive processing therapy, CPT, or eye movement desensitization and reprocessing EMDR, can help people reprocess traumatic memories and reduce the emotional hold they have. For depression, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is often effective. Antidepressants such as SSRIs can target both PTSD and depression symptoms by balancing brain chemistry. Lifestyle strategies like exercise, sleep hygiene, and nutrition also play important roles. And don't underestimate the power of community support. Friends, family, peer groups. For many, healing is not a straight line. It may involve setbacks, slow progress, and hard emotional work. But it is real and it is worth it. If you or someone you know is dealing with trauma and showing signs of depression, here are some things to watch for. Persistent sadness or emptiness. Loss of interest in once loved activities. Feelings of guilt or shame. Isolation from others. Difficulty sleeping or oversleeping. Suicidal thoughts or feelings of worthlessness. Flashbacks or nightmares. Easily startled or constantly on edge. If these symptoms resonate with you or someone you care about, please know you're not alone, and help is available. Talking about PTSD and depression is crucial. There's still too much stigma around trauma and mental health. Many people believe they need to just get over it, or that seeking help is a sign of weakness. That couldn't be further from the truth. Living with PTSD and depression takes enormous strength. Seeking help is courageous. Sharing your story or even just acknowledging it to yourself is an act of bravery. As a community, we need to create safe spaces for honest conversations. We need to support survivors, educate ourselves, and approach each other with compassion, not judgment. As we wrap up today's episode, let's remember, PTSD and depression are not personal failures. They are responses to pain, responses that can be understood, treated, and healed. We hope today's discussion has helped you better understand the deep connection between PTSD and depression. If it resonated with you, please mindfully take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, and share this episode. It may reach someone who really needs to hear it. Stay tuned for more episodes as we continue to explore the many layers of depression, healing, and hope. Disclaimer: this YouTube podcast is intended for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Please consult a qualified mental health professional for personalized support. Thank you for being here. You're not alone. Until next time, take care of yourself and take care of each other.